What if you want to dare to be different? Meaning you want a car that stands out in a parking lot, that speaks to your identity, your personality, and you want to look cool. Well, you're looking at one option, and that would be the 2024 Hyundai Kona. Brand new for this model year, and it's everything you probably look for in a very different, smallish SUV. I'm Randy Stern, behind the camera is George Torline, and this is Victory in Reseda. The 2024 Hyundai Kona follows a global design language that began with the Staria minivan and the latest Reseda, which we no longer sell in this country. This is the first vehicle to arrive in the United States with this new design language. You have LED light strips defining the baseline of the Kona, sort of like a dividing line that puts it all together. This is followed by the main lighting units, which are below the LED line. The front lighting signature may seem to be attached to the front fenders instead of the front clip. The same with the rear taillight units. A grille is prominent in the lower part of the front clip. The side profile takes on some of the cues from the Ioniq 5, with creases that are angular, creating more of a muscular profile. The door glass is quite large, and visibility is good until you get to the C-pillar. There, the glass is triangular, and it is defined by a satin chrome strip that frames the roofline. Our limited tester wore a set of 19-inch alloy wheels with brighter details all around, including a satin-finished lower front shield. Stepping inside the Kona's interior, you are greeted by a 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster that is customizable, with an equally sized infotainment touchscreen. Shifting the transmission is done by a knob at the end of a lower rigid stalk on the right of the steering column, along with paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. Other controls are similar to those found throughout the rest of the Hyundai lineup. The interior is upholstered with H-Tech simulated leather. The front seats are supportive and comfortable, providing plenty of bolstering. Rear seat room is best for children and average-sized adults, although there's plenty of headroom to spare. There is 25.5 cubic feet of cargo space behind the rear seats. When those seats are folded down, you have a maximum of 63.7 cubic feet available. Our limited tester came with a 190 horsepower, 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, putting down 195 pound-feet of torque. The engine is connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission, driving all 4 wheels. We love to tell you more about the 2024 Hyundai Kona, but it's better for us to drive it, so join George and I as we take it on the road.
So Randy, what vehicle are we in now?
We are in the 2024 Hyundai Kona all-wheel drive limited.
What does that give us?
A lot, pretty much. Actually, there's a couple things that have not been on Hyundais before that are finally showing up on this one. For example, it used to be where you have to put a wire in, i.e. a USB, in order for you to mirror your smartphone. Well, the good news is that you don't have to do that anymore, because now it has wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto.
Nice. So you just get in your car and it syncs up wirelessly and you're good to go.
Exactly. I mean, that's just great. I mean, it's the big thing we've been asking Hyundai to do for quite some time.
And it looks good on the big infotainment display too.
Yes, it does. It's a different display now, because I'm noticing some of the icons are completely different. In fact, there's an icon for Hyundai Pay. It works similar to some of the other types of in-car pay programs, where if you're ordering McDonald's or you're getting gas, it could remotely pay from your car.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's in another manufacturers, but this is the first time I've seen it in a Hyundai.
And speaking of first time seeing things, this is a whole new vehicle, isn't it?
Speaking of design, fact is, this is what Hyundai sees the future, especially when you're talking about a smaller SUV that competes with the baseline SUVs that are in the market. So you are seeing, for example, we've already pointed out in the video about where the headlamp units, the tail lamp units are located. It's a little different though. It's put it on these fender extensions that are from the front and rear wheel wells.
Right, which sets them back a little bit. So when you're viewing at it from an angle, let's say maybe 45 degrees, you'll stop seeing the other side a little bit, which is different than what you would normally see, which you'd see both of the taillights at the same time for most of the time at an angle.
Exactly. I mean, but there's been a lot of design changes as well, especially when you come into the inside. Notice the transmission shifter.
Yep, you've got this turn dial on the stalk here.
And it works that you don't touch the stalk at all. You only touch that knob, which is not really a knob.
No, it's just a twist of a plastic piece in a sense, where kind of a handle almost that you just turn and whichever direction you want to go in.
It might be concern for some people who are not familiar with the latest Hyundai products, i.e. the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 6, and as we've seen, the Santa Fe, the new one, has that type of shifter.
Perhaps people getting into it for the first time, maybe it's a rental vehicle, if it ever makes it to the rental fleets, it takes a little getting used to. But
it does, and if you're buying it, you should learn it, right?
That's right.
How's it driving for you?
So driving is nice. Around town, we've got the 1.6 liter turbo motor, which is made to an 8-speed automatic transmission. So around town, it provides a lot of pep. If you do need to get out in traffic,
well,
it'll pick up and go.
Yeah.
It does an adequate job of moving you around. So don't let that 1.6 liter small displacement fool you.
I would agree. I mean, there's a lot of pep to this engine, and on the highway, it's not bad. I mean, it really cruises quite well. The biggest difference in this driveline is they switched out a dual clutch transmission for a fully automatic one.
It does shift smoothly, and it doesn't feel like it's under stress trying to deliver power. They seem to have matched the gear ratios and the shift points really well. It's compliant, it's comfortable, which leads to the seats being supportive and comfortable as well.
Absolutely. It's there's the right amount of bolstering in terms of the backrest area is concerned. For the cushion, yeah, it's pretty decent, pretty good. So when we talk about ride and handling, we've noticed that there's a little bit of roll, a little bit of lean when you get to the turns, when you push it a little bit.
Which, being that this is really tuned for comfort, that's not to be, unexpected. A little bit of lean and roll. It's not a high performance machine by sakes of the imagination. So, but it's not too uncontrollable. It does a good job of keeping you planted and keeping you in the direction of where you want to go.
Absolutely. How about steering? How does that feel to you?
Good. The center feel is really good. It changes direction without much effort, and the power assist, I think, is just right. It doesn't feel like you really have to work at turning the wheel, but it's not over boosted.
There is one thing the driver should be aware of, and that is the shape of the steering wheel itself.
Yes, they follow the trend of having kind of a flattened bottom of the steering wheel, which helps when you're getting in and out of the vehicle, but it might be a little weird if you're going hand over hand when you're turning. Just to be aware that it's more of an oval than a complete circle.
Exactly. I mean, it's not a square. The brakes work pretty good. I mean, the pedal feels pretty good.
Yeah, the brakes are nice. Modulates nicely, and I think that the cabin noise isn't too bad. So it's fairly quiet, and you don't notice a whole lot of wind noise. So it's a nice space to be.
Exactly. It's really serene cabin, but it's good enough for what it's supposed to do. That's more important.
So in summary, I think the Kona has a new, interesting design to it. They've made some refinements to the interior noise as far as sound deadening, and the ride quality is pretty good. So I think they did a nice job with this. So just be careful about the lighting situation and how they're on the corners. Just concerned about if you're parallel parking, if someone may bump into your lighting assembly units.
Exactly.
But other than that, I think this is a nice vehicle.
It's not bad. It's a great improvement from the last generation model, and even though it has most of the drive lines available, but I'm curious as to a few things. A, how it's going to hold up over years, and B, and most importantly, the electric version.
Yes, I'm really curious about the electric version.
When looking at the lighting on the 2024 Hyundai Kona, you immediately notice the exterior lighting features, such as the front and rear light bars stretching the width of the vehicle, and lighting units low and recessed into the side wheel flare fenders. This brings up 2 points about the lighting units. Let's start with the fronts. With the lights mounted lower, it helps it not to shine into the backs of the cars ahead of it, but with them being so low, they could be more vulnerable to damage to being at bumper level height and below. For both the front and rear lighting units, because they are recessed down the side of the vehicle, being able to see the signals when viewing them from off-center becomes a problem as you cannot see the other side's markers. We would like to see them more up front for visibility. Now let's exchange the setting sun for an evening with a full moon and check out how the Kona's lighting features look and function. When the headlights are not on, the daytime running lights appear, which are integrated into the light bar across the front of the vehicle. When the headlight switch is set to use just the parking lights, the brighter DRLs turn off and a consistent LED illumination appears in addition to the corner marker lights. When the headlights are switched on, the dual projector beam headlights from the lighting units illuminate. The front turn signals illuminate 3 bars of LEDs in a bright amber color. Moving around to the rear of the Kona, the taillight units are placed low and just behind the flared rear wheel housings. When pressing the brake pedal, the brake indicator lights on either side of the vehicle light up, but they're not very large. A design that is larger in size and higher on the rear of the vehicle would be appreciated. Similar to the front of the vehicle, the taillights are just a singular long continuous light bar across the rear of the vehicle. The rear turn signals are their own lights separate from the brake lights and are amber in color, which are helpful for safety in our book. The reverse lights are just below the turn signals and provide some illumination. The license plate lights are 2 LED bulbs and provide good illumination. Stepping inside, the interior LED dome lights make the white seats and doors pop with crisp illumination. Pressing the ignition button, the interior lights dim and the instrument and infotainment screens light up and come to life along with the interior ambient mood lighting system. The brightness and colors are all adjustable for the lighting on the dash, footwells, storage areas, and in the doors. The glove box has generous lighting to help you find what you're storing in there. Looking at the illumination from the headlights, they offered good forward visibility, however could have benefited from better illumination to the sides. No adaptive or cornering lighting is available. In our thermal imaging tests, we can see here the use of heating elements in the front seats which do an adequate job of providing warmth through most of the seat bottom and good in the seat backs from the base up through the mid-back regions. The heated steering wheel provides heat around the entire diameter of the wheel. On the windshield, warm air from the defroster vents warms the lower portion of the glass, but it takes some work to heat up the broader sections of the glass. The rear defroster shows warm points on the sides of the window which connect the horizontal heating elements, though the coverage of the heating elements across the rear window was excellent as it covered the entire window.
Pricing for the 2024 Hyundai Kona starts at $24,250, and it comes in 4 trim levels with 2 different engines available. The Kona also comes in 3 additional electric models. Our limited all-wheel drive tester came with a sticker price of $34,695. So if you like what you watch, don't forget to click the like, subscribe, and the notification bell to know when our next video comes out. And we're going to have some really fun vehicles coming your way. And don't forget to log on to Victory and Reseda.net to read all the great content on our website. I'm Randy Stern. Behind the camera is George Torline. Thank you for watching.